welcome to the Gregorio's Trattoria pregame show here on Big Train TV. Tyler Gallo alongside Quentin Corpuel and Ben Bobeck today. As always, we're here in the Dandy Walker Alliance press box. Well, that's not really what it is. That's the broadcast booth, but we're in the George Solomon press box, and as Bunt walks behind us there. But today, Big Train take on the South County Braves for the second day in a row as they mercy ruled them yesterday 15-2. Quentin, I want to get your thoughts from that game yesterday because you were there as well.
Yeah, it was just the bats were hot. Every single person in the lineup seemed to be eating last night. Punctuated. It really. I could sense it when Austin Gauthier took the first pitch of the ball game deep, and from there it was really just an offensive explosion. And South County didn't have any answers.
Right. And Ben, how do they remain hot in this game?
Well, I mean, first of all, saying the bats were hot would be the understatement of the century. They were on a torrid pace offensively yesterday. They'll be looking to keep it up. They're going to look to the middle of that lineup today. My player to watch offensively, Matt Thomas. He hits in the 3-hole today. 4 RBIs yesterday. And if he can keep that up, Pepe back in the lineup at the DH, should be another big game offensively.
Looks like we got Bunt interviewing Ben here. But yeah, Matt Thomas batting .526 on the season with 2 home runs. Really big game last night. Was 4 for 5. And so my player, we're going to first go over the pitching matchup. Let's take a look at that there.
Jump the gun there.
It's going to be Matt Bedford. He's going to take on the pitcher out of James Madison, and that is Sam Landis, who hasn't pitched yet this season. Bedford pitched pretty well in his one appearance. 4 innings pitched, and he struck out 5. So that's going to be a good matchup. What are you going to see from Bedford tonight? What do you need to see from Bedford tonight?
I said this last time I was on the pregame show when Bedford was also starting. He redshirted this past season at Notre Dame, and he's just looking for opportunities. If there was any time to worry less about the results of the game and more about just treating this game as your lab, the place to work on your mechanics. Oh my God. Just to work on your mechanics, just really see what's working, what isn't. This is the most playing time he's going to have gotten so far. So I'm just really looking to have him experiment.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game regardless. Grayson pitched 5 1-hit innings yesterday. The only blemish was a home run. But tonight, my player to watch is going to be Camp Alderman. Alderman hit a moonshot last night off the bat. You knew it was gone. It was at least 4:30 in my opinion, Ben. I mean, we were there. We saw it. It was
a little distorted by the small field, but it was a rocket.
It was a rocket. So that's going to be my player to watch tonight. He's batting .500 in the young campaign, 3 for 6. A couple of ribbies as well.
Instant impact.
Yeah, instant impact into this lineup. Looks to remain a staple in the lineup as we go forward. And Quentin, I want to know who you're looking at tonight.
I'm looking at Maryland the newest Terrapin, Austin Gauthier, as I mentioned before, stayed hot last night. He's been a pretty good hitter throughout the start of the season, and I was watching him BP earlier. He had a couple dingers, so hopefully he can translate that to the game, and I believe he will.
Really put a jolt into last night's game, so it's going to be a good matchup. And Ben,
again, Matt Thomas leading the Big Train in batting average right now. A huge RBI game for him tonight. Really feasted on the runners, put on base ahead of them. If they can get that on and he can continue that production along with the middle of that order, again, should be a big night offensively for the Big Train, following up what they did last night.
Yeah, instant offense in the first inning has been a theme for this team this season, really just staking themselves to a lead before the other team even gets to bat, and that's really, or even gets a chance to respond. So we'll see how Bedford mows down the first couple hitters in this game. Stay tuned for first pitch coming up next. It's Tyler Gallo, Quentin Corpuel, and Ben Bobeck here on the Big Train. And Bunt, of course, on the Gregorio's Trattoria pregame show here on Big Train TV. Stay tuned for first pitch coming right up.
73 degrees, sun, and a beautiful night for baseball here at Shirley Povich Field. Ben Bobeck and Tyler Gallo for Big Train TV. Our good friend Bud enjoying the scenes. As the Big Train welcoming the South County Braves. Second night that offensive juggernaut rolling along here tonight.
Absolutely, big swing of the bat by Kemp Alderman last night. Really put a final finishing touch on that game last night as the Big Train went on the mercy rule. The South County Braves and looking to extend that this season. They're 2-0 against this team, and they'll look to do the same and make it 3-0 and stretch that here to just continue them rolling this season. They're 4-1 and sending to the mound Matt Bedford, who pitched pretty admirably his last time out.
So we take a quick look at our starting pitches for tonight. As you said, Matt Bedford, the righty out of Notre Dame, a rising sophomore for the Irish. One appearance this year, an unofficial appearance, still pending completion of that Silver Spring game. We will finally get that tomorrow around 6 o'clock p.m. 4 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and 1 walk. And he goes against the lefty out of James Madison, Sam Landis, taking the bump for the Braves.
Yeah, Landis actually has had a pretty solid season at James Madison despite the 4-3 K to walk to strikeout ratio. 2.25 ERA, only pitched 4 innings, so that's solid, but he'll look to maybe keep the runs off the board tonight as opposed to last night started Danny Rosenfield, just ran into trouble hitting batters, loading the bases, and then Big Train capitalized on those.
6 total runs in the first 2 innings for the Big Train as we take a look at the South County starting lineup. Brett Stallings, the shortstop, leads things off. McGuire Tuffy at second, batting second. Ethan Rothstein, the designated hitter in the 3-hole. Tyler Solomon, the first baseman, cleaning things up. Will Kennedy, the center fielder, batting 5th. Nathan Schmela, the left fielder, batting 6th. Race Kernane, the right fielder, batting 7th. Jonathan Fisher, the third baseman, bats 8th. And Braden Mack, the catcher, rounds things out for Chris Warren's South County Braves as we take another look here at Povich Field on a beautiful Tuesday evening. And we're just about set just past the 7 o'clock hour as Bedford from the stretch delivers a 7:05 first pitch strike.
That's exactly what you want to see out of your starter, to work fast, change speeds, and throw strikes, and that's exactly what he did to start it off here. Big strike right down the middle and a hefty cut by Brett Stallings.
Stallings hitting .500 through 3 games, takes a look at strike 2. Quickly in a hole to Matt Bedford.
You want to get 0-2 count. That's exactly what you want, and then you can work a little bit here. You have chances. You can expand the zone almost dugout to dugout in this situation and see if you can get a strike here. But this pitch, I'm expecting to be nowhere near the strike zone.
Nip sets out outside. That's where Bedford will deliver it. Not chasing there was Brett Stallings, so 1-2 the count. Stallings, the only South County runner to come home last night, not on a solo home run. He walked to lead things off, stole third, and came home on a sacrifice RBI by Ethan Rothstein, who bats third again tonight, and set now to take the 1-2. And pops this one high in the air. Going out underneath it is Gauthier, the shortstop. He stands underneath it and lets it drop into his mitt for a pretty quick out number 1. 4 pitches on that one for Matt Bedford.
Yeah, calling off the other fielders that were maybe encroaching on him a little bit there. Gauthier in at second today as opposed to his normal position, manning the helm of shortstop. He was DH last night, but Keith Torres is going to be the starting shortstop regardless of the night. So that's where he is tonight, and he's in at second base instead of Kyle Velasquez.
Left-handed hitting McGuire Tuffy, the second baseman, steps in for South County, takes the first one inside. Rest of the defense shapes out like this. Grant Knipp from Alabama behind the dish. Nolan Sean Ewell, the first baseman out of Florida Atlantic. Austin Gauthier, as we mentioned, the second baseman. Keith Torres out of Sacramento State, the shortstop. And the power-hitting Kemp Alderman at third base. Darius Foster from Matt Thomas. And Trevor Doyle from left to right out in the outfield grass. Designated hitter tonight, Rocco Pepe, making his return from the lineup after being absent last night.
Yeah, just dealing with a hit by pitch and had to sit out a little bit. It was a tough take there.
Bedford's 1-1 inside, ball 2.
He's been hit 4 times this season and 5 times total last night. The Big Train were hit. McGuire Tuffy, one of the better hitters in this lineup tonight, batting .300 even on the season. Got a couple of hits and a couple of strikeouts. really what you want to see out of your two-hole hitter.
3 walks as well. He gets under this one, pops it up into left field. Darius Foster will collect, and it's 2 quick outs for Matt Bedford to start off here in the top of the first.
That's what we saw from Bedford in his last outing. He pitched 4 innings, and he only allowed the 2 runs. Struck out 5. It was it was another one of those yeoman efforts we've seen so often this season from the Big Train staff. It's a different guy every night that does so. I think last night you can really point to Zach Lynch, Zach Locke, going out there and getting 2 scoreless innings and getting the game over with. It was, 2 innings of 1-run ball, of course, and had that interesting double play to end the game. 6-3-4-5 on that double play.
Ethan Rothstein will take a strike over the pipe to start off. Bedford in a groove early on. Like we said, strictly out of the stretch, no windup for him. You mentioned that game-ending double play, 12 runs after 7. It was a 15-3 lead for the Big Train as Rothstein gets under this one, high into the left center gap, and pretty quickly under it is Darius Foster. So 3 pop-outs onto the outfield grass will do it for the South County Braves in the top of the first. Gauthier, Foster, and Thomas will lead things off for the Big Train offensively in the bottom of the first. Coming up next on Big Train. The Big Train will line up like this, or that's South County. The Big Train will line up like this offensively to face the 6'1", 220 rising sophomore out of James Madison, Henrico, Virginia native. Austin Gauthier leading off, as has become the standard for Big Train bench boss Sal Colangelo. Darius Foster on deck, Matt Thomas in the hole. Here to face the lefty who drops in a breaking ball for the first strike of the night on the Big Train.
That windup is very interesting. We remarked upon it in the break for the pitcher Landis as another strike there. It's a hybrid windup, in my opinion, of Chris Young, who would come way back, if you remember that, and then Drew Smith now holds his glove up a little bit when he pitches the ball. 2 former Mets, one's a current Met and one's a former Met.
Protecting with 0-2, bloops that one into the first base grandstand. Between the grandstand and the bleachers, perhaps. So still 0-2 now on Austin Gauthier.
It's a very just...
Rocco Pepe, Kemp Alderman, Nolan Shanuel, Grant Knipp, Keith Torres, and Trevor Doyle round out the batting order. As Gauthier's set here to take the 0-2, swinging. Sending this one high into right center field. Kernane and Kennedy both over there. Kernane coming in from right to collect that one for out number 1.
Just got a little bit under that one. You saw the catcher pointing up as a fly ball. Sometimes pitchers will point up when it's a long home run.
2 home runs and 3 doubles off the bat of Gauthier this year in that leadoff hole. It's an F9 here. That'll bring Darius Foster to the plate from the left-handed batter's box. He's hitting .333, 6 hits, 8 runs, 3 walks, 5 stolen bases, just 4 strikeouts. The rising junior out of San Francisco as he waggles that bat and takes the first pitch high for ball 1.
And I want to say 5 of those 6 hits have not left the infield. I want to say he has 5 infield hits this year, including 2 bunt hits and 2 hits that were placed right by the first baseman, and he beat out the run. So it's been a very fleet-footed season for Darius Foster.
Yeah, 6 hits as he swings through strike 1 there. 6 hits, no extra base hits. He gets all of his extra bases the sneaky way with his feet. Like we said, 5 stolen bases to lead the Bethesda Big Train.
Love to see what his slugging percentage is this season. It's probably the same as batting average.
And poking this one down the left side off the tent. Over there are athletic trainers down there, Dr. Christy Voigt and her intern. Do such yeoman's work for this Big Train team.
So many yeomans on this team.
Many yeomen, much yeomen, as Foster lines this one straight back up the middle. And there goes the no-hitter for Sam Landis. This one gets out of the infield, and Darius Foster is on as the first base runner for Bethesda tonight.
And that's a sign of a good hitter, hitting it exactly where it was pitched. Right back up the middle, right through the 2 infielders where there's no chance to get to the ball. Perfectly placed for Darius Foster.
Of course, Landis will try to use that lefty move, potentially hold Darius Foster on as best he can. And with Matt Thomas at the plate, you do want to put runners in scoring position, but you don't want to take them off the base paths entirely as Thomas swings and misses through the first one. We mentioned in the pregame, or I did specifically, that Thomas had a 4 RBI last night, brings him to double digits in runs batted in already with 10.
Batting a clean .526 with a pair of long balls this year. Back on...
And drives this one the other way, well out of play.
Back on the pickoff move, I want to know who you think the best pickoff move you've ever seen is, in Major League Baseball.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Back before, it probably would have been called a balk, but I'm going to have to go with Andy Pettit. Andy Pettit had a beautiful move. It was
my baseball memory isn't deep enough to remember that many great ones. As Foster goes, here comes the throw from the catcher. Mack bounces in front of Stallings, the shortstop, coming over to cover. So no chance there to get the speedy Foster, who's got swiped bag number 6.
That'll be flushed to number 9 by the time the next game's over.
Yeah, see, I added the 3 from the Silver Spring game to the official statistics provided to us because, same as I said for Matt Bedford, those statistics count to me, even though they're not technically official yet. In judging how a player's been performing so far, of course, like we mentioned, a 3-3 game between Silver Spring, Tacoma, and Bethesda will be resumed starting in the top of the 10th inning tomorrow afternoon before the regularly scheduled game between those two teams at around 6 p.m. And Thomas set now for the 2-2, takes it high to load the count.
And we'll have to see how that game unfolds, and we'll see who's on the mound for both Silver Spring and the Big Train. Zach Locke finished off with a flourish in that game, and that's all we were left with, as we were left on a cliffhanger before that game was wiped out due to rain. Didn't rain all that hard in that area, just came on really fast.
Landis from the stretch. Thomas got a little air underneath that one, put it out into right field. Foster will tag up, going to third. Throw down again, bounces, picked up on one hop by Jonathan Fisher, the third baseman, but not in time, as Foster will advance in the sacrifice flyout by Matt Thomas. So 2 outs, but the first run of the game 90 feet away here for Bethesda, and their designated hitter tonight, Rocco Pepe, wearing number 1 in green out of Long Beach State University.
Number 1 on the field, number 1 in our hearts. Rocco Pepe, back in the lineup tonight after dealing with an issue over the last couple of games. Got hit by a pitch and showed some ill effects, but he's back in, and he's ready to go.
Took it square between the shoulder blades, his 4th of the season. Just a tough situation in those cases. And takes ball 1 inside here from Landis. Still out of the stretch, hand set high at the chest, and bounces this one low in the dirt. Good job by Mack, the catcher, to keep that one from squirting away too much. Located it pretty quickly and kept Foster down there at third base. No chance for him to come home and potentially swipe the pentagon-shaped bag. Here's the 2-0. Again, inside with the breaking ball. 3 balls, no strikes on Rocco Pepe. Pepe's played third base for a lot of this year, but has done it with the bat as well. 400, 3 doubles, 5 RBIs. A chance for one here. Instead, he'll work a 4-pitch walk. All 4 balls from Sam Landis well on the inside edge of the plate. And that'll bring up Kemp Alderman, wearing number 33. Second straight start. Third appearance of the season out of the University of Mississippi. And man, like you said, did he punctuate that 15-3 win last night.
Yeah, he pummeled the ball over this left center field fence. There was no doubt about it from the swing of the bat, the crack of the bat, and it got lost. It literally disappeared in the sky.
Swallowed up by the approaching rain clouds, perhaps, as he swings the first pitch. Scorches it off a protective fence down there. Looked like a skipping rock over the bleachers and into the parking lot down the right field line.
It was majestic. It was a majestic home run, and I saw a majestic home run from him in batting practice.
Yeah,
he hit over the scoreboard.
First time we've really had the chance to watch Kemp take BP here at Povich Field, and he's one of those guys that you just got to stop and admire it as he's set for the 0-1 and swinging and losing the bat. Heads up, Nolan Shawnuel. I mean, heads-up play by Rocco Pepe. He swiped second on the confusion in the aftermath of that one. Alderman swung so hard at the 0-1, he lost his bat in the process. Shawnuel in the on-deck circle hit the deck. It was strike 2, and 2 now in scoring position for the power-hitting Alderman.
Very smart decision by Rocco Pepe. That's just good baseball IQ there. Catcher focused on the bat flying into the wall, and he takes second base. That's just great heads-up play.
I can't necessarily say I blame Braden Mack. If I saw a piece of lumber fly that hard out of a batter's hands, I'm sure my focus would be distracted as well. Then again, I'm like a goldfish. I get distracted by a butterfly 20 feet away from us. So
I'm going to give Kemp Alderman the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I heard him talking about it. He said, I've never used one of these bats, but it's pretty good.
Here's the 0-2 from Landis outside, ball 1.
Or I believe he said, I've never heard of these bats, so maybe the brand, because I think it's Tucci brand bats, wood bats, and he said they're pretty good, though, and we saw.
That's one of the big benefits for a lot of these players in coming to the CRCBL. It's a wood bat league, a little different from the aluminum weapons they swing in regular college play. As he takes ball 2 there to even the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Get a little wood bat experience at a more competitive level before they maybe start thinking about the potential draft process and what the future is going to look like for them. Alderman swinging that piece of pine, set now for the 2-2, and chops this one towards center field. Kennedy coming in. Coming out is Tuffy. He's not going to make the catch. Both runs will score, and it's another 2 RBI base knock for Kemp Alderman, who has done nothing but bring home runs since he got here.
Yeah, and you'll take that if you're Kemp Alderman. In the books, it'll go as a sharp line drive, as he'll probably tell his grandchildren about that one. But, just a little dunker that Tuffy couldn't make the play on. And I'm going to make a comp to Kemp Alderman right now. He really, really reminds me of Pete Alonso. He's built like him. And he's got the power, and he bats from the right side. He's a very Pete Alonso-esque player.
Looks like it'll stand as a hit. No error there assessed on either Kennedy or Tuffy, the center fielder and second baseman coming in respectively for those. And Shawnuel takes strike 1 on the outside edge. There goes Alderman trying to work that speed hit and run on as Shawnuel drives this one up the right side of the infield. Alderman all the way over to third. And his runners on the corners now for the big train, threatening again to put up another 3 spot here in the first on South County.
Well, here's another first inning run game for the big train. They've done that pretty much all season, and Alderman stumbled rounding second base, so that would have been a painful moment to endure in your third game as a big train player, but he makes it to third. And I was going to say, he's got the power, certainly, just tools to hit with the best of them.
How about 8 RBIs for Kemp Alderman, 7 at-bats as a member of the Bethesda Big Train, and up over 500 now as well. 4 hits in 7 at-bats.
Yeah, nothing more you can say about him, but that he can rake.
So Shanuel on first. Alderman showing off the speed, getting to third. And taking strike one there to even the count is the catcher Grant Knipp. Also out of the University of Alabama. 2 hits, 2 runs scored, 1 double, 1 triple, and an RBI as this one squirts away from Braden Mack behind the dish. Alderman will stay put at third, but heading down to second is Shanuel. So, once again, 2 runners in scoring position.
Haven't had a chance to see Grant Knipp's power in action.
Knipp, bat set high on the shoulder. High breaking ball there from Landis. Doesn't land. It's 3-1.
Some pretty flush benches and bullpens for both sides today. I believe there's...
Hitters count from Knipp. That one bounces away. Technically would load the bases, but Alderman will come home to score on the passed ball behind Braden Mack. Shanuel down to third. And 3-0 Big Train here in the top of the first, or bottom of the first, pardon, with 2 outs.
And this, I don't think that goes as an RBI for Knipp because he came home on the play. So still will hit with that one skinny RBI on the season for Grant Knipp. And like I said, we haven't had a chance to see him display his power, but with more at-bats going forward after being injured, he should probably get that chance.
Absolutely. So Keith Torres of Sacramento State takes ball 1 low. Gives a quick hold-up sign to Shanuel, 90 feet away at third base. We'll see if Grant Knipp is tempted by the open second base bag here. Braden Mack looks like he's ready to come up throwing. Got that behind high in the air, waiting to receive the pitch from Landis, the lefty. Here's the 1-0 check back on Knipp over at first. We've seen that can be risky with a runner on third. Shanuel, not the fastest guy on the team, but given the chance, would love to maybe disprove the haters. Show off the wheels as much as he can. As it's strike 1 to Torres on the outside edge. Here's the 1-1. High, ball 2.
Haven't seen a lot from Torres in his first couple of games, but he's a veteran of this big train team, so he should settle in a little bit as he goes forward.
Hitting in the 8-hole today, Trevor Doyle, also out of Sacramento State, on deck. This one hit sharply up, knocked the glove off the hand of Landis. He's able to recover with the bare hand and throw over to Solomon at first in time to retire Torres and end the inning. Landis may need to get that glove hand checked out as he heads back to the dugout. But Big Train gets 3. They leave 2 on base on 3 hits and take a 3-0 lead into the top of the second inning here on Big Train TV. Tyler Solomon, the Haymarket, Virginia native, will start things off after the 1-2-3 inning for South County in the top of the first. Solomon looking to change things up for their offense here in the top of the second. 188 hitter on the year, 3 hits, 4 runs.
And one sparkling
5
sliding
strikeouts.
play in left field last game they played, or last home time they came here.
I believe 6 days ago by my math, last Wednesday here at Povich.
Getting all their South County games out of the way early.
3 in the first 9 days of this season.
And they'll play them again on the 21st and the 30th.
Takes that one inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And just 2 more games against them in July. So 4 of 6 times they play them, or 4 of 7, I believe. So yes, they play them in the month of June.
Swinging and missing through that one is Solomon, the first baseman tonight.
Excuse me, 5 of 7.
Behind 1 and 2. It's okay. I can't question your math when I'm not able to do it myself. Bedford still out of the stretch. Here's the 1-2. And swinging and missing. At that one is Tyler Solomon. And Bedford rings up a South County player for the first time tonight with a beautiful breaking ball there on the outside edge. Will Kennedy coming to bat now. Bedford, 2-seamer, 4-seamer, slider, and changeup in his arsenal. Swinging and missing through that one is Kennedy, the center fielder, to start off. Staten Island native, 6'1", 200, throws and bats right. And the 0-1 fouled way off to the left. 0-2.
Seen a lot of half swings and foul offs against Bedford. He's working pretty well in this game.
I mean, that one seemed like a 2-strike protecting swing, and he'll need a couple of those here. Hands high in the stance for Kennedy as Bedford delivers a ball a tad outside the zone for ball 1. Tends to major in economics at the University of Notre Dame. And misses again with that. Looked like maybe a 2-seam or a changeup on the outside edge. And by edge, I mean the edge of the right-handed batter's box. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Don't normally bring you. It's a 2-2. Punch out. Back-to-back strikeouts. Looking and previously swinging for Matt Bedford, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the second.
And that's exactly what you want to see out of Bedford, responding with his cushion. Goes out there, gets 2 quick punch outs.
As I was saying, don't normally bring you out-of-town updates in the second inning. As this one is grounded into the glove of Alderman. Can't handle it as it's off the top. And so the first base runner of the game reaches. It's Nathan Schmila on base with the E5. And Race Crenane will step into the box now.
Schmiela's just been a thorn in the side of Big Train pitching this year. Reaching on the error by Alderman.
Tough play there. Trying to backhand it, coming from left to right. Then having to throw across his body. Just snuck inside the foul line there. And so 2 out, 1 on. This one way inside on Race Crenane. Now for the third time, as I was saying, we don't normally bring out-of-town scoreboard updates in the second inning. The Nationals ahead 5-0 in the first. Thanks to a Jan Gomes grand slam. He has done it all behind the dish for the Nationals this year as Crenane swings through that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Any Mets updates?
0-0 after 1. Taiwan Walker got out of a bases-loaded jam in the first inning, and he's been impressive this year. Great signing, but great bottom-of-the-barrel signing as well.
Here's the 1-1 from Bedford. Check swing from Kernane as that one finds the inside of the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. To the right fielder for South County tonight. Lefty out of Hartford Community College, Westchester, PA native. Rising sophomore, 6'3", 225. And takes a breaking ball there. Throw down to second as the runner goes off the glove of Torres. Good throw from Grant Knipp, probably in time. But instead, Schmela will take second.
We've seen how good of an arm Nip has, but that one he kind of short armed as it bounced in. And you'll see that from catchers from time to time. I'm not discounting the arm of the cannon that Grant Nip has shown at times, but that right there was not his best throw.
I think he also might have thought it was strike 3, looking as he gets it swinging instead. Race Kernane goes down, and so a roundabout way to strike out the side for Matt Bedford here in the second. He strands 1 on second, puts up zeros otherwise. No runs on no hits, 1 error by the big train, and 1 left on base as 3 strikeouts send the South County offense back to the dugout. Doyle, and then the top of the order, Gauthier and Foster due up for the big train in the bottom of the The right fielder, Las Vegas native and Sacramento State player, Trevor Doyle, start things off out of the left-handed batter's box as a breaking ball from Sam Landis finds the outside of the zone there. 0-1 on Doyle. Doyle, one of the newer arrivees here in Bethesda, checks his swing and takes ball 1 there. Bats left, throws right. And takes the 1-1 low for ball 2.
I'd like to see Doyle get going here tonight.
.324 batting average for Sacramento State this year, .426 on base percentage. And works it to a 3-ball count, 3-1 hitters count after starting off with a looking strike. 3-1. .362 career on base percentage. And he just raised his big train a smidge there as he draws a 5-pitch walk and gets on base to turn the batting order over and bring up Austin Gauthier for the second time in 2 innings. That was a theme we saw last night.
Yeah, Doyle drawing that walk and taking advantage of the shaky control of this pitching staff. That's what you got to continue to do here if you want to keep eating at the dish.
3-0 as Doyle goes. Will remove the double play, and Gauthier gets beat by a step and a half on a chopper up the middle. Stallings to Solomon for the 6-3 put out. Advantageous steal attempt there from Trevor Doyle. He might have been in prime position to start off a double play. Instead, Foster will come to the bat with just 1 out and a runner in scoring position here. Foster, as has become Habit will look to lay down a bunt, perfectly placed down the third base line. Bouncing throw, gets by Solomon at first. Here comes the runner home, trying to put the hand down. And thrown out is Trevor Doyle. A beautiful bunt brought him down to third, and after the ball squirted away from Solomon, he tried to take advantage of that and come all the way home. Instead, looks like a 4-2 put out there. Tuffy backing up Solomon down the right field line will register the second out of the inning, throwing out Doyle at the plate.
Yeah, and a very aggressive base running play there, but unfortunately out at the plate. And, yeah, I think that's a
And lining this one up the middle, over is Stallings. And again, it squirts past Solomon. That one was in his mitt off the bat of Matt Thomas. Foster over to third safely. Runners on the corners for the big train. 2 outs. They took advantage of a couple runners in scoring position with 2 outs in the bottom of the first, and another chance to do so here.
And then just some very poor defensive play in this first inning from South County. We've seen some poor play them just in terms of control, but here just been rough.
Still no error on the scoreboard. We'll see if that changes in the coming moments. As Landis will check back on Thomas at first. Thomas 2 swiped bases this year. Second check back on Rising Junior at the College of William and Mary. Here's the first pitch into Pepe.
Pepe came all the way around to score in the first inning. In his first at bat, he walked and then came all the way around, stole a base as well.
Pepe tapping this one up the third base line. Well foul. So the Foster hit, or the Foster on base, ruled a hit, a single. As of now, still trying to iron some things out. As the throw down, trying to get Thomas, will again squirt out of the glove of his South County defender. And this time able to take advantage of a ball behind is Darius Foster as he comes home for the 4th run of the game for Bethesda.
Smart base running. We always see it. Always see it from this guy, Darius Foster, and it's 4-0 Big Train.
The official score just can't keep up. Incorrectly have Doyle as Matt Thomas in the official line as a check down to DeAndre Anderson. The first base umpire says Pepe did not get around. So it'll be ball 3 on Rocco Pepe, looking to work his second straight walk. Thomas on second. One more run across to make it 4-0 here. And Pepe with a prime chance to make it 5. Ball bounces in front of him. He'll take his base for the second time today and bring up Kemp Alderman with a chance at a couple more RBIs.
The RBI machine, Kemp Alderman, is going to stand up here.
.33 stretched across that big back of his, and he has delivered with the bat. As we've said, 8 RBIs in just 7 at-bats. A runner in scoring position. He comes up swinging at the first pitch, pops this one foul down the first base line and bouncing at the end of the grandstand there. Will stay out of play. 0-1. Sun dipping behind the clouds here at Povich Field. Hopefully for the final time tonight.
Never know.
2 on, 2 out here in the bottom of the second. Big Train threatening again, and trying to deliver again is Kemp Alderman. A rocket scorched off the bat, but straight at Race Curnane. So the Big Train strand 2 bring one more across on one hit and one South County error. They lead 4-1 as we head to the top of the third. Jonathan Fisher fouls the first pitch he sees from Matt Bedford back into the screen for strike one here in the top of the third. Fisher at third base today, hitting 100. One hit, one run, one walk, 4 strikeouts. As he gets under this one again, fouled out of play for strike 2, quickly in the hole, 0-2.
Fisher trying to get a good swing on Bedford here as his counterparts haven't had a chance to. Bedford
in command.
Yeah, he's been as advertised here in the first inning. First couple innings.
Just one of the first 7 South County batters has reached base on the error by the third baseman Alderman, but quickly picked up by Bedford striking out Curnane to end that third. Third strikeout of that frame. And in prime position for another one here. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and through the left side of the infield. Alderman nor Torres could get between that one. It's through the 2 left side defenders in that infield. And just like that, how about a commentator's jinx, as it's the first hit allowed by Matt Bedford.
Yeah, it happens, you know. Hits. You can't throw a no-hitter every game. It's been since 2019 since there was the last no-hitter for the Big Train. So, yeah, now that we have some time to, you know, just examine this game, I guess it's good to call back to an old friend of the Big Train in a little bit.
As the first one fouled back into the mitt of Grant Knipp. Of course, there's a few numbers down the right field line. 42 for Jackie Robinson, 21 for Roberto Clemente. 2 in green and white, however, 40 for Hugh Adams, the longest-serving member of the Big Train, and 11 for this man doing big things still in the major leagues, Hunter Renfroe of the Boston Red Sox.
And now here he goes off here in this first game of this road trip.
Oh, swing and a deep drive. This one crushed Renfroe right on top of it, and that one's gone way up into the bleachers. Sox go back-to-back and lead it 4-0. They are wide awake.
Oh, get the tape.
A big yoke for Hunter Renfroe for the Boston Red Sox. And over in foul territory is Nolan Shanuel to collect that one off the bat of Braden Mack, who continues his hitless streak to start this year for South County, as it's the first out of the inning.
Yeah.
Bringing Brett Stallings back to the plate for the second time today here in the top of the third.
And should we call back to that home run a little bit here? I mean, Hunter Renfroe, just one of the probably the best player in Big Train history. No doubt about that. That's why his 11 is hanging forever in the right field, down the right field line, alongside Cal Ripken Sr., Jackie Robinson, Roberto Clemente, Hugh Adams, and Hank Greenberg.
And another one put up the left side of the infield. So 2 hits in this inning, both in nearly the exact same spot. And 2 on, 1 out here for South County, looking to make some noise offensively for the first time this evening.
First time in a long time they made some offensive noise. Of course, they had that big swing in that last inning, and then the painful double play to end it.
McGuire Tuffy flew out to Darius Foster in his first plate appearance. Look to do something a little bit differently here with 2 base runners on in front of him. First one from Bedford misses outside. Here's the 1-0 again. A little bit off the outside of the plate. 2-0. Bedford strictly out of the stretch all evening. Checking in, taking his time, and time called by Tuffy, the batter. As this one looped very highly into foul territory behind the third base grandstand here at Povich Field. Lovely weekday crowd here. Not bursting at the seams or anything, but definitely a lot of faces taking in some baseball on what's become really a beautiful night here. 73 degrees still as we near the 8 o'clock hour, but the sun is, looks like, finally settled as the 2-1 misses outside, ball 3. Finally settled behind those clouds out in right center.
Yeah, and I think this is more fans down in the first base grandstand than I've seen all season.
Big picnic crowd here as well before the game. Looking to see what Matt Bedford will do here in a 3-1 count, 2 on, and puts this one inside. And a walk issued to McGuire Tuffy to load the bases for Ethan Rothstein, the designated hitter tonight.
Yeah, Rothstein, had a solid line. He's been another one of those thorns in the side of Big Train pitching this year, and went yard last night in that 7th inning.
And takes a first pitch straight down the pipe. For strike 1. Here's the 0-1 from Bedford. Off the glove of Grant Knipp, but able to keep it in front of him with an eye on Fisher down at third. Knipp out to have a quick chat with Bedford. Runners on, plenty of eyes looking in on the signs being relayed from Knipp to Bedford on the mound. Count even, 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out here in the top of the third. And runners all around the bases as this one crushed into the tennis courts. Well foul But that one was loud off the bat of Ethan Rothstein.
Yeah, he sat back on that one here and just unloaded, crushed it. But it was just foul. And it goes as a long strike.
Big strikeout opportunity here for Matt Bedford. Would love no better time for his 4th of the evening than right here. Rothstein choked up a little bit on the bat and takes this one inside edge. A huge punch out there from Matt Bedford. 4th strikeout of the night. 2nd one looking and 2 outs. And an opportunity to get out of this one with Solomon stepping to the bat.
Maybe looked a bit inside to me up here, but doesn't matter. Backwards K goes for Rothstein, and got to stay hungry for another hit. But he was humbled at the plate.
Lefty Tyler Solomon, hands high above his head, slightly wagging the bat. And in to face Bedford now with 2 outs for South County here in the top of the 3rd. Swinging and missing at the first one. Hefty cut there from Solomon. And he's left empty 0-1.
Solomon having, just a fairly pedestrian year at the plate. Getting some chances here to get in some runs.
Swinging and missing again. 0-2 in the hole. Kicking the dirt in disgust. Did not like missing that pitch. Great breaking ball there from Bedford. And a huge opportunity to strand 3 South County runners.
And sub 200 on the season is Tyler Solomon.
Time called. He'll step out. Tap his front foot once, the plate once with the bat. Steps back in. Bedford twisting the ball. Now comes set, hands at the belt. Kicks, delivers. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Back-to-back Ks for Matt Bedford. Strands 3 base runners. And the big train get out of it with a big 0 on the scoreboard, and they take a 4-0 lead into the bottom of the 3rd. Nolan Shawnuel into the left-handed batter's box, taking a breaking ball from Landis for strike 1. Start things off here in the bottom of the 3rd, and another one high and inside. Ball 1. As we honored 2 of our community heroes, thanks to the Jim and Carol Trawick Foundation, the part of the inaugural class of Big Train Community Heroes. Randy Schools and Mark Burgle among the 5 that were honored here tonight. Randy Schools, longtime head of the NIH's Recreation and Welfare Association, as Shanuel takes the 3-1 count and works a walk there. Again, started out with a strike and took 4 straight pitches for a leadoff base on balls here for the Big Train offense. Grant Knipp will come to the bat. Schools played leadership roles in countless nonprofit organizations, including Children's Inn, Greater Bethesda Chamber of Commerce, 2 decades as chair of the Big Train's Booster Club here at Povich Field. Mark Burgle, the founder of A Wider Circle, working at a national level to end poverty, as this one's scorched up the middle by Knipp. And Stallings Tuffy to Solomon for a 6-4-3 double play.
Not what you want there if you're Grant Knipp, but he hit it on the screws, unfortunately, right to the shortstop, Stallings, and he turned a nice double play there.
Absolutely scorched there up the middle by Knipp. Just unfortunate timing. Oh, and 1 now to Keith Torres, stepping in for the second time tonight. Hit another scorcher straight back to the pitcher. Landis caught it, but it was hit so hard by Torres that it took the glove off his hand. Dropped to the ground. Landis was able to recover in time as he drops a breaking ball in there for ball 1, a little high. Landis able to recover, toss over to Solomon at first for what would stand as the 3rd out of that first inning. And Torres takes ball 2 high.
That's a great breaking ball from Landis regardless. I mean, it's just spun in there.
Looks like a young fan in front of us posing for a picture with his brand new Aida Cicada at Shirley Povich Field as Torres drops one in front of the left fielder Shmela. That one gets behind Shmela. Kennedy able to recover, backing him up. And Torres is on base for the first time tonight with a beautiful little blooping single to the outfield.
Yeah, a chance to make a nice play there, Shmela, and continue to burnish his reputation as a Big Train killer.
Instead, Shmela on base, second base runner for the Big Train of this inning. But Trevor Doyle will be hoping to take more advantage of this opportunity as Landis comes set out of the stretch now and delivers a beautiful fastball straight over the plate for strike 1 to Doyle.
You would love to see that swing of Doyle just sit back and crack one down the right field line and out.
And Doyle trying to do exactly that, tips this one off. Halfway between the plate and Austin Gauthier in the on-deck circle. So 0-2 here on Trevor Doyle. 2 outs, 1 runner on. Big Train leading 4-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd. Doyle wagging those hands, looks at a breaking ball outside, ball 1. Whichever. The 1-2 misses outside as well. 2 balls and 2 strikes, count even.
Trying to work around Doyle here and get to, lead off Gauthier, who is 0 for 2 today. And, Doyle walked his last time up, and he'd love to walk again here, but even count at the dish.
56 games for the Sac State Hornet this year, as this one squirts away from Mac beyond the dish and nearly put that one straight through Sam Landis on the mound. Landis had to duck out of the way as Mac tried to lace one over to Stallings to try to catch Torres swiping second. Torres stands safe, and it's a full count now to Trevor Doyle. 6-0, 2-0-5, and he gets punched out there with a strike on the outside edge. Doyle goes down looking to strand 1. And so the Big Train go down with a whimper here in the bottom of the 3rd. And they'll send Matt Bedford back to the mound when we come back after this quick word from our partners at the Dandy.
1 in 10,000 children are born with a brain malformation known as Dandy Walker syndrome. Dandy Walker can cause enlargement of the skull, lack of muscle control, and other developmental challenges. More research is needed, but we do know that early therapy helps many live healthier, fuller lives. 1 in 10,000 may not seem like a lot, unless your child is the one. Learn more, find help, and help others. Visit dandy-walker.org.
Will Kennedy back to the dish here for South County. Couple substitutions being read in by Chris Warren, general manager and bench boss for the Braves. Not exactly sure what he's reading out to Darren Schoberg, our home plate umpire, part of the three-man crew, along with Norm Gordon out behind third base, and we already mentioned DeAndre Anderson behind the first base bag. Kennedy at the plate, Nathan Schmela on deck, Race Curnane, behind him. None of those three are different, despite the lengthy discussion between Schoberg and Warren before this Matt Bedford pitch in for a strike on Kennedy. Start him off 0-1. Picking up right where he left off with a couple huge strikeouts to strand the bases loaded for South County in the top of the third.
And we'll see how long Bedford's leash is tonight. You know, hasn't pitched past 4 innings this year. We saw Hit go 5 for the first time and actually qualify for a win. First starter to qualify for a win all season long. So see if Bedford can go 5. He certainly has pled his case.
He went 4 in the Silver Spring Tacoma game that we mentioned. His only regular season appearance of the year so far. That was arguably the smoothest pitched game for the Big Train so far. They got 4 innings from Luke Baker, their starter. They got 4 innings from Bedford in relief. And with the game tied, Sal Colangelo went to Zach Locke out of the bullpen, who kept things at 3-3. Send that one to extras, which again will be played tomorrow at around 6 p.m. before the regularly scheduled game between those two teams has a scheduled first pitch of 7 p.m. We'll see what happens there. Should be an exciting finish to that one. And so Bedford looking to at least start things off similarly to how Baker started off that one and gets the third hit of the infield of the evening, pulled up the other side of the infield. The other two have been up the left. This one pulled just past the glove of Austin Gauthier, coming over to his left, trying to snag that one backhanded. But it's the first leadoff, or I guess back-to-back leadoff hitters on board here for South County.
Yeah, and Bedford has bent a little bit in this game, but he hasn't broken. Still
Absolutely.
Looking at that big goose egg on the scoreboard. Gave up a pair of hits last inning.
This one might be a chance to help that out. Torres to Gauthier to Sean Well, 6-4-3, and a big double play for Matt Bedford and the Big Train defense.
Exactly what the doctor ordered. Some prescription there for Matt Bedford getting that double play. And it's almost as good as, getting 2 quick outs. It's pretty much what it is.
Race Curnane went down whiffing his last time at the dish. And with 2 outs quickly here in the top of the 4th, we'll look to avoid a similar fate as Bedford pounds the right-handed batter's box there outside. And this one lifted in the air towards left. Foster going back against the wall. And on the warning track collects that one. So a very quick top of the 4th inning. A leadoff single allowed, but a double play and a long flyout off the bat of Race Kernane sends South County down 1-2-3 in a roundabout way. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Big Train leading 4-0 here in Big Train. Number 22, Kyle Lewis, the righty out of Ashburn, Virginia, taking the mound now for South County. Not to be confused with Kyle Lewis out of Ashburn, Virginia. 2 Kyle Lewises on the pitching staff here for South County. The aforementioned Kyle Lewis, known as K2 in Chris Warren's lineup card, who takes the rubber now for Mr. Warren and South County as he runs this one way up inside by the face of Austin Gauthier. A rising sophomore at Marymount, the other one a rising sophomore at Hood College, both here in the state of Maryland. And it's number 22, K2, out of Marymount, who has now worked a 3-0 count on Austin Gauthier, the leadoff hitter for the Big Train, leading off this inning. Batted perfectly around the order twice through 3 innings as he takes ball 4 inside. A 4-pitch walk will start off the night for Kyle Lewis.
Yeah, and maybe Coach Warren wanted to wishes the other Kyle Lewis was on the mound after the leadoff walk here.
I mean, when you do have 2 guys from the same area, of the same name, playing the same position.
One's about 3 inches taller than the other one.
Yeah, this Kyle Lewis on the mound, 6'4", lanky righty. Both right-handed pitchers. K1 and K2 has to be probably the best way to differentiate them.
Yeah, K1
check back on Gauthier at first.
is bearded, and K2 is not. That's my best comparison there.
Beautiful orange glow of the sunset peeking out behind the clouds as Lewis delivers the ball outside to Darius Foster. Singled twice, scored twice. Another night at the office for number 8 in green.
Punches in his time card and goes to work.
And takes this one on the outside edge, inside the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. A left-handed hitting Foster. Gauthier on base ahead of him with a 4-pitch walk to start things off here. Big Train leading 4-0. And Gauthier will get checked down again. Throw over from Lewis. Not threatening at all. Ben Bobeck and Tyler Gallo here from the Dandy Walker Alliance broadcast booth. George Solomon press box at a beautiful Shirley Povich Field on a fantastic Tuesday night for baseball. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball catches the edge again. 1-2.
Lewis getting that nice breaker in there. We've seen some phenomenal breaking pitches out of this league though thus far. I think I'm going to bring it back to, I believe it was the guy on Silver Spring. Let me pull up him first.
Oh, yes. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, he had a great breaking pitch. As I'm
He's
trying
a big guy. Kieran Gardner, I think it was?
Yeah, Kieran Gardner had just a phenomenal breaking ball and strutted his stuff on the mound, and we'll see if he's
Gauthier will take off. Throw over in time. Gauthier took 3 steps, thought Lewis was going home, tried to dive back for the bag, and Lewis able to pick him off for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, he danced off and got caught, and he was dead as a doornail there. Not much chance to get back there for Gauthier.
Foster fouls this one back to stay at 1-2. Here's the 1-2 again to Foster inside in the dirt. No runners on base to threaten that one.
Made no effort to get out of the way of that pitch either. That was close to him.
Well, the box is his. Doesn't have to get out of the way of the box. Once he's in the box, whether it's for the pitch, whether it's for the catcher trying to throw down, it's called the batter's box for a reason. It's owned by the batter. Here's a 2-2 driven the other way, or pulled rather, for the lefty up the right side of the infield. And Darius Foster is 3 for 3 with 3 singles.
Yeah. And
say that 3 times fast.
Darius Foster's slugging percentage is probably microscopic with the amount of singles he's put up this year, but he keeps putting in work. You don't care what he does as long as he's on base. And that's what he's done here.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Darius Foster's offensive approach is far from broke as he's on base for the 3rd time today and will play heavily on the mind of Kyle Lewis there on the mound with the speed as Lewis puts a perfect breaking ball over the middle of the plate to Matt Thomas. Happy to look at that one.
So Sam Landis did something that a lot of other pitchers couldn't and retired Thomas both times.
Landis able to strand 5 big train runners on the base paths as Foster takes off. Beautiful hit and run as Thomas snakes this one down the left field line. Coach G waving Foster home. He has a chance to score from first and will. It's an RBI double on the hit and run for Matt Thomas and a 5-0 big train lead.
Flawless execution from Matt Thomas there, and he's not retired anymore. Having his number with Sam Landis, well, K2 Lewis takes over and promptly allows that double to him and an RBI double and more ribeye steaks. He's been eating good this year, Matt Thomas.
11th of the season for number 12 out of the College of William and Mary. And it's another runner in scoring position with 1 out here for Rocco Pepe. Chops this one down the left field side. Coach G down there at third base had the windmill a-moving. Foster sent from the crack of the bat all the way. He was about 3/4 of the way to second when that one snuck by Fisher at third base into the outfield grass. Took a weird carom, and that's going to be a balk by Kyle Lewis down to third base. is Matt Thomas.
Yeah, not a good move at all from from Kyle Lewis. I'm just gonna say it there, be brutally honest. That was clearly a balk. Then you can't.
That's what you're here for, Mr. Gallo. The brutal honesty is great breaking ball in there to come back and get a strike on Pepe 0-2.
The epitome of brutality. But Rothstein's not up right now. He's behind the plate though. Maybe called that pickoff play and just not.
He's actually the DH tonight. There's another breaking ball inside, well inside on Rocco Pepe, but breaking back over the inside edge of the strike zone and looking at that one and going down on strikes is Pepe. He's a little frustrated.
And stop me if you've heard this one before. Kemp Alderman is up with runners in scoring position.
Alderman has become an RBI machine.
I mean, it's just uncanny how many times he's been up with guys on.
It's a shame. I would have loved to see the race for the team RBI lead between Alderman and Thomas if Alderman had started the season.
Well, hey, it's
with
close.
The big train coming in 3 games late, I think he arrived. And it's still close, like you said.
Don't discount Kemp yet.
11-8 in favor of Thomas.
I think it's going to be a much closer race as we go forward.
And able to check his swing on that one in the dirt, 1-1.
He might change hands several times this season with the rate this is going.
Jack Cohn up there as well, I believe with 6 or 7. Rocco Pepe just retired, has 5. Austin Gauthier has 6. And chopping this one up the left field side. If Alderman can beat this one out, he will. And there's number 9 for Kemp Alderman. As the throw gets by Solomon, Alderman over to second. It's another error on the board, likely for South County, and another run comes home. Make it 6-0 Big Train here in the bottom of the 4th.
It's a hit. It goes as a hit, so it's an RBI for Kemp Alderman. And guess what? That's 9 RBI. Count them, 9 for Kemp Alderman thus far in the season.
I believe that's 9 and 9 at-bats.
He just doesn't stop. This guy, he won't quit.
3 tonight, just shy of his 4 last night. Showing off the wheels as well, motoring over to second base.
And nearly took out a chunk of the outfield grass as he ambled into the outfield grass. He's moving.
We saw what his momentum can do to a pair of baseball pants last night as he slashed them open, sliding into home. Had to change halfway through that game last night.
And once again, that'll go as a sharp line drive for a base hit for Alderman.
Advances on a error.
Even though it was a very
4 now.
Softly hit liner.
Sloppily defended tonight for South County. Three and 0 now to Nolan Shanuel, who had the green light, chops this one foul. 3-1, still a advantageous hitters count.
Oh, looks like we have a friend on camera.
Bunts all over this broadcast tonight. Down in front, you're a better door than a window as Shanuel drives this one to left center field, back towards the scoreboard. Is Schmela, and he collects it for a loud out number 3. 2 more runs come home to score on a couple base knocks. 1 runner left on board for the Big Train. They take a 6-0 lead to the top of the 5th. You're on Big Train TV from Povich. 4 innings of work we'll see from Matt Bedford. A stellar 4 innings at that. No runs allowed, just 3 hits. And 5 strikeouts, sprinkled in there. It'll be the Oakton, Virginia native, Matt Howitt, stepping to the bump now for Sal Colangelo and this Big Train pitching staff. Howitt earned his first win of the season the other night against Gaithersburg with a stellar outing.
And it was a stellar outing, but can we go back to last night a little bit and talk about the stellar outing of the pitcher after that good outing from Bedford, or for Bedford to start? We'll take a look here. Performance of the game last night. Grayson hit. Also, shout out to, I know this wasn't her, but shout out to Reagan Towers, our graphic design. Girl has been, great outing for Grayson hit. 1 hit allowed in that game, and it was just phenomenal effort regardless.
1 hit, emphasis on the 2 T's. That one is Howitt gets a chopper to Gauthier at second, flipping over in time to Sean Uell at first to retire Jonathan Fisher for the first time tonight. And pardon me, Howitt got the win last time South County made the trip up here to Povich Field last Wednesday. His first win of the season. 4.0 stellar innings for the rising sophomore at the College of William and Mary, the lefty. 2 hits allowed, just 1 run. It was not earned. 2 walks and 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, it was a great outing from Matt Howitt, regardless of how you put it. Really shelved concerns after his first effort this year and came out and just shoved. And that was exactly what you wanted to see out of him. He had some rough goes of things in his first two outings. We saw him in the exhibition games. Then he came out in that first one and struggled. But in that last one, just great.
A huge piece of this pitching staff as he gets another ground ball to Torres, the shortstop, and perfectly over to Sean Uell on the 1-1 count. And 2 very quick outs via a ground ball for Matt Howitt to start things off here in the top of the 5th.
How's his ground ball pitch working today? That's 2 ground ball outs.
I'm going to go with good.
So here's Howitt as he sets and delivers his pitch, and we'll see what he's up to here.
Strike 1 there from Howitt. And gets a big swing and a miss from Brett Stallings, and quickly ahead 0-2 from Matt Howitt. He has the stuff working through 3 batters right now. Working quickly, and a big swing and a miss. 3-pitch strikeout. 1, 2, 3. Matt Howitt doing it with some style as he retires Brett Stallings on 3 straight strikes. Excellent inning to start things off for Howitt. And the Big Train Bats will be right back up here in the bottom of the 5th on Big Train TV. Grant Nip will start things off for Big Train here in the bottom of the 5th. It's been a great game for them so far. Nothing but zeros across the line for South County as Nip chops the first one down the left field line. Kyle Lewis back on the mound, wearing number 22 in red for South County tonight. His second inning of work after relieving Sam Landis and allowing 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th. Pardon. I think Nip will head back to the dugout for a fresh piece of lumber. And here's the 0-1 from Lewis, bouncing behind Mack, the catcher. Had no idea where that one ended up. Luckily, no runners on base yet for Bethesda here in the bottom of the 5th. 6 runs so far, 7 hits, 1 error by the Big Train defense. No runs on just 3 hits and 4 errors as Nip swings and misses through a good breaking ball for strike 2. 3 errors in my book so far, still trying to locate that 4th. 2 in the bottom of the 2nd. So 1 unearned run as Nip goes the other way to poke this one. Protecting with 2 strikes, nearly beats it out from Tuffy to Solomon for out number 1.
Yeah, and he goes with the pitch there and drives it to second base, and a great play by Tuffy to get him out.
Tuffy had to go way back in that hole, well onto the outfield grass to retire Grant Nip. Speedier than he looks, but it's the first out for Kyle Lewis. And now a pitch inside on Keith Torres, the shortstop for Bethesda tonight. Singled and was stranded at second last time at the plate. Here's the 1-0. Popped off the top of the backstop and over the clubhouse, out of play. Beautiful cotton candy skies here at Povich Field. More clouds than there were when we started, but it really has been a beautiful night for baseball as the 1-1 taken high by Torres.
Yeah, and Lewis, trying to just keep moving forward in this game. He allowed those 2 runs last inning, but who hasn't allowed runs to the Big Train this year?
This one bounces well in front of the left-handed batter's box, so 3-1 now. On the fly-in Hawaiian, Keith Torres looking for a chance to show off that speed, perhaps. Saw it from Darius Foster on that fantastic hit and run. Here's the 3-1 from Kyle Lewis inside, ball 4.
Up and in on Keith Torres there, and he's aboard once again. We'll see if he's in motion. He's been in motion. He was on motion the last time he was up at the plate.
And unlike the starting pitcher Landis, who issued the single to Torres in his previous trip to the plate, no lefty move advantage for Kyle Lewis. So we'll see what Trevor Doyle will do here. Looking to turn the batting order over with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. And swinging and tipping. First one foul. Doyle 250 through his 3 games of action. 2 hits, 1 run scored, 2 RBIs, and a good take there, ball 1.
Lewis missing the zone here. It's eluded him a little bit. And just, as you can see here, trying to get the signs in from the catcher behind the plate. See him there as he checks over the runner at first base. Yeah, cotton candy skies here tonight at Povich Field.
Slight breeze coming in. No flag in the outfield, so can't tell exactly from where. I don't have a couple pieces of grass to check either. It's normally my go-to method. Just grab a couple blades of grass, toss it up in the air, see which way it goes.
Yeah, no trade winds tonight. Maybe here in the booth with the fan you're turning on.
That's what I'm realizing as I'm saying it out loud. 2-2, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Trevor Doyle. Slight breeze out there on the field as, Again, checking back on Keith Torres at first.
Keep moving forward. That's all you can say for this Big Train team. Keep moving the line. You know, that's exactly what they've done tonight.
And Doyle lacing this one into right field. That's going to get down in front of Kernane. Torres over to third. Doyle looking for two. He's got it sliding in safely. And he'll turn the order over in style. Two now in scoring position for the leadoff man, Austin Gauthier, with one out here in the bottom of the fifth. And once again, the Big Train knocking on the door.
Great piece of hitting there for Trevor Doyle. Socked that one into right field and smartly advanced to second there. Think they give him a double there, or is that going to be a single and, you know,
it's a
advance?
double. That's a double. We'll double check what the official score has to say, but that's a double by me. Smart play. Maybe try to draw the throw in an effort to get Torres home as well. Either way, solid base running after a solid piece of hitting for Trevor Doyle. Second time on base tonight. Third hit of the year. And Gauthier takes strike one. And now swinging and sending this one way foul over our heads. A couple gasps. That one might have hit a car. The tension of the crowd turning back. Here's the 0-2 to Gauthier. Kicks, delivers, does Lewis. Breaking ball, misses outside. Ball one. Lewis kicks and delivers the 1-2, and again, fouled back nearly the identical spot. And that one loudly off a car.
Hope it's not mine.
Hope you didn't park there. I feel like you should have learned your lesson by now. Not saying that anything has happened to yours, but you've been around Povich enough to know
I usually park in the same
where
spot.
not to park. 1-2 again, way inside on Gauthier, able to dive out of the way. Curveball there from Lewis, missed his spot. And now evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's a 2-2. Popped up into the air, center field. Under it will be Kennedy. Torres off at the sound of leather. Doyle will hold at second. Throw into Stallings, the shortstop. It's a sacrifice fly out for Austin Gauthier and another RBI in his chase for the Ribeye State crown.
I think the winner of the Ribeye State crown should get a nice ribeye steak.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. I'll even cook it for him. I got a flare in front of the grill, I will say.
Certainly well fed have been the Big Train this year. A couple of them come in on, you know, errors and stuff like that, and you can't avoid that in baseball, but a lot of hard hit balls have led to ribeyes.
Torres, the 7th run of the night, and Darius Foster now 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, coming up swinging at the first pitch and putting it over the light tower in left field behind the beehive out there.
We had a bee start today.
We did. One of many bees out there in the Big Train bullpen, which plenty of bees in that one as well. Big Train bullpen. Lewis raises that right leg, steps off the rubber, checking back on Doyle at second base. Foster coming back now. Foster does not like the batter's box as he takes ball one. At the beginning of his at-bat, and then periodically throughout, he will use that either back leg or front leg to kick up the dirt, give him some fresh ground to stand on. As he stands in there now for a 1-1. Another check back on, and Doyle with Stallings coming over and snow-coning that throw from Kyle Lewis.
Got to be wary of the balk here. It happened earlier. And that one was pretty close.
Helped Matt Thomas score in the 4th inning, setting up Kemp Alderman with an easy RBI as another foul back to the left side. Will be 1 and 2 on Foster when he works back in that box. And it seemed the last time we were here at Povich that the left-handed batter's box for that big win over Gaithersburg took much more of the brunt of these players' spikes than the right-handed one. Tonight seems to be an even distribution of damage. As here's the 1-2 from Lewis, chopping this one up the right side. Spin around, bouncer into the dirt. Coming home to score is Trevor Doyle. I don't know what McGuire Tuffy was trying to do there.
That was
backhanded fielding that one way over toward the right field line in the second base hole. Spin around and bounced it a foot in front of him and a foot to the right of Trevor Solomon, the first baseman. Foster over to second, and I guess that's an RBI. Actually, no, that's the 5th error of the night. We'll see whether...
I'm sorry, Ben, but, I mean, in the wise words of Keith Hernandez, that's just bad fundies there. You got to charge on that ball. If you're McGuire Tuffy, he played passive, especially with a fast runner like Darius Foster. That's just a poor defensive effort there from McGuire Tuffy.
Ball, strike one, pardon, in there on Matt Thomas.
You know, he let it roll to him, which you can't do with Darius Foster at the dish because he will beat it out 9 times out of 10.
Got to charge that backhanded. And I don't know what he was trying to do with that throw. Trying to spin around, but spun so slowly. Didn't get any momentum. Trying to get that ball over and just, like, almost duffed it straight into the dirt in front of him.
Great Raul Ibanez impression. Yeah, I remember he spiked the throw in left field.
Quickly in the hole here, Thomas 0-2, protecting, fouling this one high. Down the right side, underneath it is Solomon. So Thomas goes quietly to end the inning and strand Darius Foster at second. But 2 more runs home on a wacky sequence of plays, especially that 5th error of the game officially for South County. 8-0 Big Tran. We're heading to the top of the 6th. But first, another word from our sponsor at the Dandy Walker.
1 in 10,000 children are born with a brain malformation known as Dandy Walker syndrome. Dandy Walker can cause enlargement of the skull, lack of muscle control, and other developmental challenges. More research is needed, but we do know that early therapy helps many live healthier, fuller lives. 1 in 10,000 may not seem like a lot unless your child is the one. Learn more, find help, and help others. Visit dandy-walker.org.
Santino Rosso pinch hitting for McGuire Tuffy to start things off here in the top of the 6th.
You got to think maybe it's because of that defensive effort. I don't know. I mean, you don't want to speculate here, obviously, but removed right after that.
And Rosso responds by lacing one straight up the middle. It's the first base runner aboard against Matt Howitt in his 2nd inning of work here. We were saying, looks like Rosso will come in. He's been a guy who's played 3rd, played a little bit of 2nd last night. Looks like he will slot in for McGuire Tuffy at 2nd for the time being. We'll let you know if we hear anything counter that as it's Ethan Rothstein's turn at the plate. And he lines one into left. Foster going to have to chase this down. Rosso will hold at second. That one hit hard off the bat of Rothstein, but died pretty quickly in that outfield grass. So 2 batters and 2 aboard here in the top of the 6th for South County, looking to break this duck on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and you usually say that you break the cover off the ball on home runs, but he broke the cover off the ball on that base hit there. Laced that one in the
on a
left.
single.
Love to see the EV on that one.
Tyler Solomon, back-to-back strikeouts in the 2nd and 3rd.
Solomon, the switch hitter. Batting around from the right side now. This bunt tries to
6'5".
hijack our camera again.
6'5", 255 righty. Little does he know we have a backup this time. But really a character. No other word for it.
Very much. Roger that if we do.
So 2-0 now to start off Tyler Solomon. Check swing. And that one misses outside. 3-0.
Howitt getting a bit rattled here on the mound, it seems like, you know. And it'll happen from time to time when you give up consecutive hits, but 3-0 on the next batter shows that he just needs to attack here. Just pour one in for a strike and then go to work. It's a 0-0 count.
Checking back over at Santino Rosso at second. Keith Torres chasing behind the infielder out of Hofstra. Looking for the throw over. Howitt with that front foot set forward and delivers a strike over the pipe. Solomon gets way under this one. Sean Ewell on the infield grass. Lost it in the night sky. An infield fly. Don't know if Sean Ewell lost it or just heard the infield fly and decided to back off. Regardless, first out of the inning there with Solomon retired quietly.
The friendly infield fly, the unfriendly infield fly right there.
And that's exactly what you don't want to do on a 3-0 count as the batter.
Right, well, and if the infield fly rule wasn't called and the batter didn't run it out, he could have turned a double play if it was hit low enough. You know, when it's hit high like that, it's easy enough to just catch it.
And this one laced down the right field line, tucking over towards the batting cages down there out of play.
A lot of people scattering for those baseballs. I love to see that.
Was tempted to scatter for a couple of those, hit our direction towards the parking lot at South County High School down in Lorton last night. There was one that was hit really right towards us, maybe a foot or two away from the bleachers where we were sitting. Lovely perch there as Howitt set for the 0-2. He's going to get over, get Santino Rosso in the rundown. And it's going to be a pretty simple 1-5-4 put out, I believe. Excellent execution defensively there for the big train. Over to second is Ethan Rothstein. And 2 outs now. So Santino Rosso put out.
Bit of an examining here on Howitt's delivery. Once he comes set here with the pitch, as you see, he sticks his, left foot out, like pretty far out, almost off the mound, and then comes in. It looks like he's got a, he'll set as a side armor.
Yeah, and really taking a short stride. A lot of pitchers you'll see really try to drive on that front foot, use that to accelerate, get that arm around, get a little extra velo. But Howitt really in control all the way through.
Yeah, and you look at it
but
here.
has been taking his time. And you can see Santino Rosso trying to take advantage of that and get over to third. Ends up paying the price and being sent back to the dugout instead.
Yeah, but the way he comes set, though, is the biggest thing here because it just reminds me a lot of the way that Darren O'Day would, or someone that would throw sidearm or submarine.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
But, he doesn't throw submarine, over the top, 3/4 maybe, and it works.
Here's the 2-1, outside, ball 3. Second 3-ball count of this inning.
Yeah, first in-depth look at a pitcher on the big train staff in terms of, where they are or what makes them tick. And certainly on the mound, Matt Howitt has been a pretty solid, just member of the staff.
3-1 gets him to go around, send it foul. Send the count full here with 2 outs. Will Kennedy, the center fielder, subbed out. It's Cooper Benzin, 6'3" righty out of Virginia Commonwealth, rising sophomore at the plate now. And he faces a 3-2 here from Matt Howitt inside in the dirt, ball 4. So Benzin works a walk in his pinch hit appearance.
Exactly what you want to see coming off the bench from Benzin, getting up and getting on base. Coming off cold, and he gets in there and gets on board.
So Nathan Schmela, the left fielder, comes up swinging at the first pitch, and back towards the parking lot is that baseball. Gone forever. Or at least until it's collected by a young fan, perhaps. Or an older fan.
Now, I have to know if
no judgment about who wants to go home with a souvenir
right.
baseball, because I count myself among the many that would always love to go home with a little leather in your hand. There's the 0-1. Sent high in the air towards right. Chasing over it is Doyle towards the fence. And in foul territory, step in front of the fence between the field of play and the bullpen is that one. So 2 aboard for South County, but Matt Howitt keeps the zeros coming for the Big Train pitching staff. 8-0 lead. We head to the bottom of the 6th from Povich Field. The designated hitter out of Long Beach State, Rocco Pepe, will start things off lacing this one up the left side of the infield into the outfield. And a leadoff hit for number 1 in green.
Death by singles today. That's really what it's been. They've been singling the staff of the Braves to death today, unlike yesterday where it was a lot of power, a lot of pop. Today it's just single, single, single. I think it's been one extra base hit today for the Big Train among their 10.
2 actually.
2.
Double by Thomas and a double by Trevor Doyle.
That was nearly a single. If it was fielded right, probably could have been a single as well, but a double on the board nonetheless.
Kyle Lewis will check back on Pepe at first. So Kemp Alderman definitely has the power in those thick arms for an extra base hit as he cuts through that one.
Love to see him send another one into orbit like he did last night. Send it back to Lorton.
We'll have to spend some time after this one, Tyler, you and I digging through the forest out there, looking for the one he hit last night from Lorton. As from the stretch, Lewis will deliver again over on Pepe.
Maybe we'll have that clip for you in a little bit.
Moonshot. into the night sky from Kemp Alderman. He'd love to do another one here. Takes ball 1 inside with a breaking ball. Here's the 1-1 from Lewis. Swing and a miss. Hefty cut there from Kemp Alderman. And it's 1-2. Lewis set from the stretch. Here's the 1-2. Swing on lace down the left field line off the support pole holding up the safety net there. Quick time as that ball came back into the field of play. Collected by one of the big train bullpen pitchers out there.
Looking at Kyle Lewis here as well, stepping off. But Kemp Alderman, I mean, he's got bat speed, man.
Alderman will, I don't know if he broke it or just not happy with the grip on it.
He did say,
flexing it. I think it's Keith Torres over by the bullpen collected it from him and was kind of giving it like a flex.
An Indian burn, if you will.
Yeah. So not happy with the lumber. He's got a new stick in his hands as he takes the 1-2 outside in the dirt.
Crinkling
2
it up.
Strikes. He was ahead of that one. I think it was a fastball from Lewis on that loud foul ball. Really turned on it. Sent it square over the head of Coach G. Another check back on Pepe at first. He dives back in. Got that oven mitt on his left hand. Seeing that a lot of days in all levels of baseball now.
Yeah, my dad's not a huge fan of the oven mitt, especially when it's oversized. Some guys try to get it to get as much advantage as possible.
2-2 breaking ball in there. Called strike 3. We've seen that a couple times. Not necessarily from Lewis, but painting that inside corner with a very nice breaking ball. And Kemp Alderman retired looking on strikes. Who cares? So Nolan Shanuel, runner on, 1 out. Singled, advanced all the way to third, walked, and caught up in a double play in the third. Flew out loudly to left center field last time at the plate and takes ball 1 outside.
Yeah, been a lack of power, and maybe there's an impetus on the hitters today to just drive in runs any way you can. Because last night it was a lot of runs on a lot of home runs, and playing home run derby in Lorton, maybe the air is a bit different down in Lorton. You never know.
So 3 strikeouts now after that last one by Alderman for the big train as Lewis checks on Pepe again. All of them looking as Pepe will go finally. Throw down by Mack would have been in time, but it bounces in front of Stallings and trickles all the way onto the outfield grass. Kennedy coming in to collect that. So 2-0 to Pepe, and he grounds this one to Rosso at second and square through the legs. Buckner-esque all the way around to score is Rocco Pepe.
So I've actually remembered that it was Rosso who made that play at second base and not Tuffy. So apologies to McGuire Tuffy.
So was it a defensive substitution first?
I believe so. It was a defensive substitution. Santino Rosso in at second. So apologies to McGuire Tuffy.
You slandered his name a little
I
bit.
did slander his name, but it was
We did.
And 2
It was
just
not you
rough,
alone.
rough defensive plays in this game from Santino Rosso. And maybe old teammate of Austin Gauthier at Hofstra.
Gauthier, of course, entered the transfer portal as Nip will swing at the first one, put it back into the air. Coming in and slipping is Kernanen right all the way over. I mean, Shanuel had come basically all the way back to the first base bag, thinking that one was going to fall into the mitt, and had to scramble to get to second because now standing on first is Grant Nip. So back-to-back errors. Oh, no, that's a hit. Never mind.
They gave an error to the other one, though. 6 errors, and that's not going to win you many games. Getting dangerously close to that score from last night.
More errors than hits for South County tonight, 6-5 in that category as Torres swings through the first one there.
Very close to 3 runs away, or they're 3 runs away from that 12-run rule.
And 12 runs after 7. It's 9-0 here in the bottom of the 6th. But another runner in scoring position.
It's been a very quick 6 innings, just now getting to 9 o'clock.
About 2 hours and 10 minutes in 7 innings last night. And ball outside, 2-1 now on Torres. Lewis working hard out there. Puts a nice breaking ball on the inside edge. He's been really good with that location throughout his 2 1/3 inning of work so far. And protecting there, looking to find that spot again on the inside edge was Lewis. And Torres able to foul it off this time. Will stay at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Count full after a ball outside.
We'll have to see who our Big Train TV player of the game is tonight. You know, certainly some guys that have played really well. Darius Foster with singles to death tonight. Matt Bedford pitched 4 spotless innings.
Probably my candidate would be Foster. 4 for 4, 4 singles, 3 runs scored.
I'll have to offer Matt Bedford up for that as well. You could go either way here, but of course the game's not over yet, so Foster could have another big at-bat coming up soon.
Kyle Lewis, full count from the stretch and delivers high to load the bases with a walk to Keith Torres. Back-to-back at-bats now in back-to-back innings where Torres has gotten on base via a base on balls.
Trevor Doyle gets a well-struck ball down the line here, makes it a 12-0 game.
Bases juiced for Doyle. Delivered with a loud double.
I mean, great speed on the base paths. You know, you got Nip at third and Sean Ewell at second. And, of course, the speedy Torres at first. He could score on a slowly hit ball down the line.
Outside edge to Trevor Doyle.
Generous call there.
Lewis still in the stretch despite the bases loaded. Kicks high and gets a ground ball off the bat of Doyle. Bobbled by Rosso. Safe all around. Another fielding error proves costly yet again. It's 10-0 Big Train.
And you got to feel for Santino Rosso at second base. He's just had some rough plays out there tonight. Had the one that didn't charge hard enough at second. And then, of course, the one that went through his legs. And there's another error to his ledger tonight. That's 3 for Santino Rosso. And got a mound visit here. So we got a pitching change coming out of the bullpen.
And Lewis trying to pick up his teammate. Normally it's the other way around when the coach comes out to change arms. It's his defensive teammates picking up the pitcher. Instead, it's Kyle Lewis, who pitched pretty well despite allowing 6 runs in 2 1/3 innings of work. Giving a slap on the arm there to Santino Rosso as he strides back to the dugout. Head held high, glove and cap in his right hand.
Yeah, we got a new pitcher on the mound.
Dan Cote, 6'2" righty, rising junior out of Westbrook, Connecticut. Will take his warm-up pitches and look to stifle the bleeding here with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 6th. Austin Gauthier with the bases loaded here against Dan Cote, swinging and missing. Big swing at the first one, tipped back into the catcher's mitt, says home plate umpire Darren Shorberg. And strike one regardless.
Yeah, new pitcher Dan Cote on the mound. We've seen him before, not last night, but looking to get some innings in here.
Takes ball one to even the count on the outside.
Squarely pressed against the wall here with 3 runners on and just 1 out.
Here's the 1-1 from Cote. Check swing. They'll appeal down to Anderson, the first base umpire. He says no, he did not. So 2-1 now on Gauthier. Set now out of the stretch. Bases loaded. 2-1 to Gauthier outside. Ball 3, hitters count. Nip leads from third. Torres from second. Doyle from first. Here's the 3-1. Ball low. It's an RBI base on balls for Austin Gauthier, the 11th run home of the night, and the bases stay jammed.
And we have now reached the witching run.
All right, Scott Hansen.
I was hoping you'd get that.
Oh, I got it. There is never any concern about me getting it.
Never nothing. There's nothing like Red Zone on Sundays.
Not some big train baseball on a Tuesday?
Oh, yeah. Well, that obviously is Tuesday thing. But Red Zone on a Sunday.
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, ain't it?
First pitch to Foster. Popped foul out of play. Bouncing on the concourse. Fan there in a white shirt. May be able to get a job with South County with those fielding skills. Straight in front of him between 2 hands.
Ben, how are your fielding skills?
Better than that. Here's the 0-1 to Darius Foster. Looks like we have another friend with us here in the booth now.
As we get set for another segment, right?
If we have time. We might not have time the way this game is going.
Well, we still have a full inning left regardless of this. I mean, we still have at least an inning left. Or at least a half inning left.
One to Foster inside. Strike 2. So, bases loaded. 1 and 2 coming from Cote. Foster underneath this one. And under it is the third baseman, Fisher, for out number 2 of the inning.
I should have prefaced that with, we've now reached the witching run, where wins become losses and losses become wins.
Brady Gump pinch hitting here
Oh, some outfield rolling up to.
for Matt Thomas.
What a band to be your walk-up song in the game of baseball.
It is a great song. Not quite center field by John Fogerty, but
Charlie
with what
Blackman's
you
walk-up
got.
song, actually.
Comes set, front leg forward, kicks and delivers, swinging and missing is Brady Gump. Assuming he will slot into right. As he takes a breaking ball low and inside for ball 1.
Yeah, we have a friend up here in the booth. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Hoping for,
Friend is one word.
friend is one word. You're right.
Gump takes ball 2. Base is still loaded. 2 outs now. And now 3-1 on Brady Gump as he takes that one low and outside. Cote working quickly, gets the swing and a miss there for strike 2. And a strike away from stranding 3 big train runners. 1 run shy of what could be a 2-inning worth run. Inning and a half worth run. Set, here's the 3-2. Inside, ball 4, he walked him again. 2 runs in a row, walked home. And there it is, 12-0 Big Train here in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, that's the big run there to make it a mercy rulable game. Now, obviously if they complete the 7th inning, but we're here in the bottom of the 6th. So if the Big Train can pitch up a scoreless inning next inning, the game would be over.
And so Rocco Pepe, long ago, led off this inning with a single, stole second, came around to score for the second time today, steps in the batter's box as we welcome you in here to the Dandy Walker Alliance broadcast booth inside the George Solomon press box. Not just me and Tyler. We're joined by a couple bunts here. We got bunt here, we got bunt here. Bunts all over the place. Not really on the field right now as the 1-0 to Pepe lines straight over our heads. Yeah, you'll get used to it. Don't worry. Got some Gregorio's pizza up here, courtesy of Gregorio's Trattoria.
I've already taken a few bites of my slice and getting interviewed here by Bunt.
Bunt asking the hard-hitting questions as this one skirts away. Runners will stay. With Doyle on third, not really the most aggressive of the Big Train runners. And again, a 12-0 lead. Traffic held up by Trevor Doyle. I think Bunt wants some too. It smells good.
It does smell good. Gregorio's sponsoring the pregame show, obviously, and a lot of things here at the field. We love Gregorio's here. Great food. So definitely head there.
Swinging and missing at the 2-1 is Pepe. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. And lacing this one in the left field line. That's going to stay fair. That's going to be at least 1. Coming home to score is Gauthier. Rounding third, churning for home is Brady Gump. It's a 3 RBI stand-up double for Rocco Pepe to break this one open even wider. And Bunt having a time celebrating that one.
What a shot off the bat there from Rocco Pepe. Just killed that ball down the line and placed it perfectly. The runner was shaded, or the fielder was shaded a bit over to the right. The left fielder, that is. Left fielder.
That tickles.
Left fielder Schmela shaded a bit over to the right. And perfectly placed there is Kemp Alderman looking to drive in some more runs. And guess what? Runner in scoring position for Kemp Alderman.
15-0. They put up that many on South County last night. And Alderman with a chance to eclipse it. Looking to do so with 1 swing there as he got a piece of it but tipped it behind. So Doyle home to score. Gauthier scores from second. And all the way around from first came Brady Gump. It's a 3 RBI double from Rocco Pepe. And this one laced up the middle. Off the pitcher's mound. Pepe churning from home. Here comes the throw from Kennedy in center. Cut off by the first baseman Solomon. They'll get Kemp Alderman at second. The run comes home to score first. Alderman able to bait the throw to make sure Pepe came home. So 16 with, count them up, 1, 2, 3, 8 runs home in that inning to bust this one open. It's 16-0 Big Train. Alderman the third out with the RBI. gets caught at second. As the big train bat around, we head to the top of the 7th inning, a 16-0 lead for Bethesda on Big. Hayden Winter will pinch hit for Race Kernane to start things off here in the top of the 7th. A reminder, the mercy rule in the CRCBL, 12 runs after 7 innings. Like it was the 9th, if this scoreline holds, the Big Train would not have to bat. In the bottom of the 7th, as we have a new pitcher. And how about number 13 in green? Stone Cold Jack Cohn. He's shown he can do it with the bat. A chance to show off that arm as well. Starts off Winter with a ball. Now coming back, gets the foul. Even the count, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Stone Cold Jack Cohn might be just like Mean Joe Green.
Second pitching appearance of the season for Cohn. He laces a fastball just outside. Good location, trying to get Winter to chase. We saw Winter starting last night in South County as he swings and misses to strike 2, pardon me. That's a twister.
An 8-spot last inning for the Big Train.
Is that their tied for their
I think so.
most runs across in 1 inning? As getting the swing and miss through that one for Winter is Jack Cohn. He starts things off. He can do it all as he gets a big swing and strikeout of Winter. Put this one 2 outs away.
Yeah, and just getting in some work here, Jack Cohn. He can do it on the base path, so why not do it on the mound as well? Turned in a solid start his last time he pitched, and looking to just get this in, put this game to bed.
Emptying the bench here is Chris Warren. It's Griffin Boone in for Jonathan Fisher. Don't believe we've seen Boone.
He played last night.
Did he?
Yes.
Well, shows what I know. Started at second. Good call.
Donning number 5, I believe it is, correct?
Yep. David Wright-esque.
Yeah.
Here's the 0-2. Ooh, heads up. Braden Mack in the on-deck circle.
You always, when stuff like that happens, you always call back to Juan Encarnacion. Way back in 2007, he actually had a career-ending injury on a foul ball in the on-deck circle, hit him in the eye. So, those are always scary.
So count stays at no balls, 2 strikes, Cone from the windup, and high, ball 1.
Still no output up on the scoreboard, but there is one. We're not crazy. I mean, you want to bring up the guys that have all changed? Like, let's take a look at the starting lineup, what it was today for South County. You see there. And
Rosso in the 2-hole as Griffin Boone protecting that. Beautiful graphic put up there by our own graphic design wizard, Reagan Towers. Boone in for Fisher. Winter in for Kernane. Benson in for Kennedy. Rosso in for Tuffy. That's 4 overall pinch hitters used.
And you got to think.
Max standing on deck. He will bat for himself as of now, as the 2-2 again fouled off by Griffin Boone.
And you'll have to just harken back a little bit to maybe Tuffy should have stayed in at second base.
Harken, if you will.
Harken, one of my favorite words. Just double back on that.
There's the one out. Up on the scoreboard. Up on the scoreboard now.
Thanks, Dylan Spilko.
Not quite as many mentions as he got last night.
It's all right. We got our Reagan Towers shout-outs out tonight. So
Cone the lefty from the very left edge of the rubber. Wind up. Hands low. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jack Cone to start things off here in the top of the 7th. He retires Winter and Boone back-to-back Ks. Jack Cone can really do it all.
he really can, and that's why they call him Stone Cold Jack Cone. That's why we call him Stone Cold Jack Cone. But right now, just blowing him away. What more could you ask out of this guy? Oh.
Not quite a strikeout there as runs up a little high and inside and tight on the catcher Braden Mack, who's on base for the first time today with a hit by pitch. And with that, Brett Stallings, again, will bat for himself, but he becomes just the first South County Brave to hit 4 times today. If Cone had managed to retire Mack, we would have seen all South County batters, or at least each South County batting spot, right, pinch hitters notwithstanding, bat just 3 times.
That is correct, and 057 on the scoreboard is never pretty.
Six of those have been stranded. A couple double plays in there, a couple walks.
Shout out Stranded Sports.
Big Train have done some stranding of their own. 7 stranded for Bethesda. To go with 16 runs on, is that 19 hits?
13
hits. Swing and a miss there by Brett Stallings. It's 1-2. Some clapping from the Big Train stand. Cone from the stretch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 3 swinging strikeouts for Jack Cone in the top of the 7th, and it's back-to-back Mercy Rule wins for the Bethesda Big Train as they take this one in 6.5 over South County, 16-0.
And a non-bumpy trip to Victory Station today for the Big Train, 16-0 the final score. They score 31 runs. They outscore their opponents 31-3 in this 2-game set. And what a win it was for the Big Train. Put up an 8 spot in the bottom half of the 6th inning and just rolled on forward. Jack Cone, all he had to do was put one in his back pocket, and that's what he did.
Sound the horn as the Big Train rolls into Victory Station. A remarkable 2-game outing over South County, and they brought their bats on board. For the Big Train, 16 runs, 13 hits, just 1 error, 7 runners. Left on base for the visiting South County Braves. No runs, 5 hits, 7 errors, and 6 runners left on base. We'll take a quick break and bring you back here into the Danny Walker Alliance broadcast booth. for Big Train postgame when we come back here on Big Train TV.
1 in 10,000 children are born with a brain malformation known as Dandy Walker syndrome. Dandy Walker can cause enlargement of the skull, lack of muscle control, and other developmental challenges. More research is needed, but we do know that early therapy helps many live healthier, fuller lives. 1 in 10,000 may not seem like a lot unless your child is the one. Learn more, find help, and help others. Visit dandy-walker.org.
And welcome back for the second time here inside the Dandy Walker Alliance broadcast booth. Ben Bobeck, Tyler Gallo for Big Train TV. A massive 16-0 win for the Big Train, their second in 2 nights over the South County Braves. Matt Bedford was the winning pitcher. Sam Landis, the losing pitcher for South County. And Tyler, the bats certainly came to play for the second night in a row, but overall, your impressions of the Big Train for this one as they get ready to go on the road tomorrow, complete that first game in Silver Spring, and then get on their way to a regularly scheduled 7 p.m. game against the Thunderbolts.
Well, I think, just they blew me away this weekend with how many runs they scored. 31 in their 2 games, and that's what more could you ask for from your team than 31 runs in just 2 games. 2 games and 2 mercy rules. So it's a big one, big effort tonight. Matt Howard actually gets the win in relief tonight. 4 innings, but
they announced Bedford.
Bedford, the 4 innings tonight, solid, and I think just you love that from your staff. Put up zeros across the board. Bedford, Howard, and Cohn, regardless, putting up scoreless numbers as they get in here and get a win again at the home ballpark. Last night they traveled down, and the bats, they brought them with them, and then they brought them back from Lorton. So that's what you love to see.
They made the trip both ways, round trip.
Absolutely. Darius Foster was the round trip trainee today as he gets 4 hits, all 4 singles. Gets a couple of runs scored tonight. And then, of course, Matt Bedford, those 4 scoreless tonight. And the scoreless bullpen for the Big Train.
Absolutely. First shutout of the year for the Big Train is once again our final score presented by Bethesda Magazine. Big Train 16, South County 0. One more potential performance of the game. How about Rocco Pepe in his return to the lineup? Again, missed last night. 2 walks, a strikeout looking, but 2 big doubles, or a double and a big single to cap things off. A couple RBIs as well to keep him in the RBI race that we kind of talked about throughout the game.
Yeah, and Rocco Pepe, showing no ill effects from that hit by pitch as he gets back in the lineup here and does work, gets in there and goes out there and puts up a great effort. And that's what you love to see out of your designated hitter.
Yeah, like we said, Silver Spring, Tacoma in a game and a half tomorrow on the road. Big Train will be back here Saturday after a couple more road games for a doubleheader versus the Alexandria Aces as the Train move to 5-1 this season. For Tyler Gallo, I've been Ben Bobeck. Thanks for watching Big Train Postgame here on Big Train TV. One more time, the final score from Povich Field. Bethesda Big Train 16, South County Braves nothing. We'll see you next time.